We go to Niall Bowie, an independent writer and photojournalist based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So with Iran tentatively agreeing to allow new UN inspections, do you think the West should make reciprocal gestures towards Tehran and ease its tough stance?
Thanks for having me on the show. Well, I certainly think so, given the fact that there is no factual basis for applying sanctions on Iran. And I think it's really important to recognize as well that there is a shadow war being waged against Iran. A couple of weeks ago, Seymour Hersh released an article in the New Yorker where he talked about the Iranian dissident group, the Mujahideen-e-Khalq, which it's a U.S. State Department-listed terrorist organization. It's been trained in Nevada, trained by the U.S., trained by Mossad. So these are the folks who have been implicated in things like the assassinations of the Iranian nuclear scientists, the Stuxnet virus at the Natanz facility a couple of years back. So I think there's certainly no basis for these sanctions to be applied. And look at the situation Iran is in. It's surrounded by U.S. military installations. I mean, who is threatening who here? Honestly, and I think as a show of goodwill, the 5+1 ought to drop these economic sanctions because they're affecting local Iranian people and Iranian nationals abroad. I see it every day in this country.
Do you think that outside pressure can be effective against Iran in resolving this crisis?
Well, perhaps. I think the Ayatollahs who are ruling Iran, I think they're afraid of the social unrest that comes with economic sanctions and inflation and things like that. And I think right now in Iran, conditions are ripe for a kind of a color revolution, the Green Revolution, reviving that, if you will. And believe me, you'll have the U.S. civil society groups, you'll have the National Endowment for Democracy, you'll have Soros, Open Society Institute, all over it. Yeah.
With Washington saying there'll be no let-up of the pressure on Tehran and the Senate in the U.S. backing proposals for more sanctions against the Republic, do you think that the U.S. is looking for a compromise?
I don't really think if you look at what the Western powers are doing in the Middle East, basically attempting to restructure it. I mean, we can't really ignore these reports of intelligence agencies arming different rebel groups in Syria and elsewhere. So I don't really think the program here is crisis aversion. But for a second, I just want to talk about the factual basis behind Iran's nuclear program. It does not have a weapons program. There's an individual by the name of Clinton Bastian, who was the former U.S. nuclear weapons program director. Earlier this year, he sent an open letter to Barack Obama. Basically, he explained the fact that the Iranians use gas-based centrifuges. The ultimate product of their centrifuges would be gas, hexafluoride. Now, in order to make a weapon out of that, you have to convert that gas to a metal. Doing so is very dangerous. It takes years. It's never been done in Iran. Any resulting weapon you get from that kind of procedure would yield about a kiloton of conventional explosives. So it's entirely impractical for the Iranians to weaponize their program at this point. And I think if they are open about the fact that they're developing, medical isotopes for research and things like that, I think if they're open with the IAEA and the UN, there's absolutely no justification for this continual pressure and these economic sanctions that are really hurting local people.
Last question. There are many nations dependent on Iranian crude oil, including some EU countries, including Greece, and some of its neighbors, including Turkey, and big economies even like India. Do you think there's enough understanding among those backing the sanctions of the wider impact that they could have?
Hard to say, but given the situation in Europe, I think it's a preordained conclusion that the sanctions there are a bad idea. But what I think the economic sanctions on Iran have done, they've worked to benefit the GCC, Gulf Cooperation Council, and the Persian Gulf monarchies, because you have purchasers such as in South Korea, you have Lee Myung-bak now, who is now a client of the Saudi royal family and Saudi Arabian oil. So basically, I think the NATO GCC alliance is really underlying the Iranian sanctions.
All right, Niall Bowie joining us from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Thanks for your time.